Back on TYT Sports, crazy story to report on this Tuesday morning, which seems like a Monday morning because we had a holiday yesterday.
And nothing in the studio works.
Nothing in the studio seems to be going. I think our studio is on holiday mode. But either way, this is an interesting story to talk about. So Alan Pulido, a Mexican striker who plays his trade for Olympiacos in Greece, was kidnapped last week. It was reported, or I believe, over the weekend. And then more craziness ensued as it was further reported by Proceso, a newspaper, which said that bringing an end to the kidnapping, he basically sculpted his own escape by punching one of the kidnappers and then getting his gun and shooting them. So taking the quote directly from Alan Pulido, as this all happened in Ciudad, I believe, Victoria. He basically stated that he punched, well, this isn't a quote from him, but this is just paraphrasing according to Proceso. He punched one of the kidnappers, took his gun and shot the man before breaking through the safe house window and escaping. And previous media reports said that he was fine, sporting only a bandage on his hand, presumably due to either the punch or the glass breaking. Yeah, so crazy. Liam Neeson in this fall.
This is straight out of a movie, because on top of what he did to able to disarm the guy who kidnapped him, there's actually two guys I believe that were in this incident. He walked away with just a Band-Aid on. Yeah. It's like at the end of a movie when they sit there in the ambulance, like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. Like, you just survived an explosion going, like, falling 80 stories, and like they're just kind of sitting there and they got like ace bandage around their like wrist, and you're like, I'm good, Dad, don't worry, I'm fine. But seriously, so what I find amazing about this is Pulido's composure from the reports in this situation, in that he was able to recognize where he was, or at least give authorities, because he also took the cell phone. That's how he was able to get in contact with authorities. Yeah. A rough description of where he was, basically by getting his head out the window to see, you know, there's two-story houses, there was 4 total cars on the road, describe that, and obviously in 2016, it doesn't take much to describe a certain area. I'm sure that they can find you. Yeah.
It's almost like a real-life reenactment of Taken 2. When he gets taken, and he's Liam Neeson's blindfolded, and he's like counting, I don't know what he's doing, he's like trying to measure which direction he's going. He's going 1, 2, left, 1, 2, 3, explosion, right. And I'm like,
it's like
what?
Part Daredevil, part Taken,
but
part.
I don't understand what's going on. But so, who's going to play the guy in the movie? That's the main thing.
Well, this is very true. We could have Benicio del Toro would do a fantastic job with this. Absolutely. One of my favorite actors out there. All right, so from The Guardian, I found some other interesting information, at least about, so kidnappings in Mexico are actually a major problem.
Very dangerous.
And have been for a long time. They've done movies on this, documentaries on this, like dating back to 2002 at least. I remember seeing them come across the news wires, whatever you want to call it. But the official statistics are low and a little bit, they're going to use the word muzzled in terms of, or muffled.
Cloudy?
Cloudy as to like specifics, but at least a survey from Inegi estimated that number of kidnappings nationwide in 2014 at between 83,000 and 116,000. So it's a big gap there, but obviously, let's take the low end. That's 83,000 kidnappings. Mexicans reacted with relief to the news of the rescue of Pulido, whose kidnappings were considered so sensitive that no mention of it was made during Mexican League Championship match in Monterrey on Sunday. Yeah. And on top of that, the speed of the rescue also raised uncomfortable questions on social media sites, where some wondered how Pulido was found so quickly in a country with countless victims, in a state that will hold elections on 5th of June, which could replace the party in power for the first time in 86 years. Quote, when we knew who it was, we knew that it was going to generate a lot of pressure, right? Here's what's interesting about that. Did Pulido get special treatment because of his status? Because there was a ransom? Because this is somebody that, and this is, I'm taking the words from The Guardian here, that people are speculating are more important than the other 86-ish thousand kidnappings per year. It's just an interesting talking point.
It's what happens when, obviously, that he's got superstar status, right? And he's going to get more media coverage than anything else. It's not the same situation, but we ran a story recently on the kid who got the Lionel Messi jersey, and he was now he was potentially going to be a victim in kidnapping. His family was in danger. And then we looked at the statistics, and it happens relentlessly in an area that is facing adversity. And that kid was just one that obviously got the media coverage because Lionel Messi sent him a shirt. But there's kids that are used in kidnapping basis to try and obtain something from my family a week-by-week basis. And it happens here in Mexico. This is not news to me. I mean, it's something that I was told about in school, and I did a lot of research on it when I was interested to find out, because when I came into the country, into the US, I was unaware of obviously a lot of the adversity that was faced in the southern neighbours. And when you look into the details, it is alarming. And when you look how fast this situation evolved, you got to take into consideration that this guy helped obtain his own safety, right?
Yeah.
He didn't rely solely on the authorities. Of course, they helped in bringing him to safety, but he actually, that's not to say that everyone should take it into their own hands, because it could have gone the other way. He could have tried it. It might not have gone as smooth. It could have been shot and killed. So it's obviously a relief, and it's something that we're talking about here as always like the Liam Neeson of the footballing world, getting himself out into safety. But it might not always pan out that way. So we hope that no one is watching this clip or anyone in the world faces this circumstance. But this was possibly a one-off situation where he was able to free himself using his own I don't know, expertise to try and get away.
Real quick, the other two things that came from David Agron, that's the writer of the Guardian article. That's where he brought up the points on with the speculation in terms of was there star treatment in terms of getting this, or at least saving Pulido opposed to the other ones, and as well as location-wise, only 200 miles south of the Texas border. Just for some context, so people can see. We'll put up a map for you.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments. It was a crazy story that evolved over the weekend, and of course we are happy that this football star has returned safely to go back and play his trade. So let us know what you guys think, and on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRubin91, and at TUIT Sports. See you soon.